Caseoh wasn't your typical hero. He had a beard like a fuzzy orange sunset and hair to match. His favorite outfit was a comfy, oversized hoodie, also orange of course. Caseoh had a laugh that could shake a room and a belly to match. The most interesting thing about Caseoh, though, was his belly button. It wasn't the button itself, but what lurked inside, magical glowing orange lint. Now you might think belly lint is gross, and usually you'd be right. But Caseoh's lint was different. This lint had power. It could heal the sick, power up gadgets, and even talk. The lint whispered to Caseoh, told him jokes, and most importantly, warned him of danger. One day, the lint whispered a warning about a terrible threat: radioactive people. They glowed green, smelled like burnt toast, and wanted to turn everyone else into grumpy, glowing copies of themselves. Caseoh knew he had to act. He couldn't let these radioactive folks ruin everyone's day. He put on his lucky orange socks, grabbed his trusty lint brush — you never know when you need a lint refill — and set off to assemble his army. Caseoh's army wasn't your typical army. It wasn't made up of soldiers with swords and shields. Caseoh's army fought with kindness, laughter, and the sheer power of good hygiene. They were called the Ban Army, and they were here to banish bad vibes and radioactive bullies. The Ban Army was made up of everyday people. There was Mrs. Higgins, the librarian, who fought with a flick of her feather duster and a well-placed quote from her favorite poetry book. There was Mr. Gonzalez, the mailman, who delivered justice and packages with a spring in his step and a smile on his face. And of course, leading the charge was Caseoh, armed with his trusty lint brush and an endless supply of dad jokes. He knew that even the toughest enemies couldn't resist a good chuckle. The radioactive people weren't hard to find. They left a trail of glowing footprints and the faint scent of burnt toast wherever they went. "They're heading for the city!" cried Mr. Gonzalez, pointing his mailbag towards a plume of green smoke rising in the distance. "Then that's where we're headed," boomed Caseoh. He adjusted his lucky orange socks and took a deep breath. The lint in his belly button tingled, sending a wave of courage through him. To the Lint Mobile. Now the Lint Mobile wasn't your typical car. It was a bright yellow ice cream truck that Caseoh had won in a raffle. He'd replaced the jingle with his favorite polka song, and the ice cream with a powerful lint-powered engine. It wasn't much to look at, but it got the job done. The journey to the city was long and filled with obstacles. They encountered rivers of radioactive slime, which Mrs. Higgins navigated, using her extensive knowledge of origami and a stack of old newspapers, and forests filled with grumpy, glowing squirrels, who Mr. Gonzalez befriended with his secret stash of trail mix and his uncanny ability to speak squirrel. Through it all, Caseoh kept the spirits of the Ban Army high with his terrible jokes and infectious optimism. "What do you call a lazy kangaroo?" he'd ask, his belly shaking with laughter. "I don't know, Caseoh, what?" someone would groan. "A pouch potato." And the Ban Army would erupt in laughter, their spirits lifted, ready to face whatever radioactive menace awaited them. The radioactive people, however, weren't going down without a fight. They surrounded the Ban Army just outside the city limits, trapping them in a glowing green force field. "It appears we're in a bit of a pickle," said Mrs. Higgins, adjusting her glasses. The lint in Caseoh's belly button buzzed anxiously. He could feel its power waning. The force field was blocking its energy. "We need a distraction!" shouted Mr. Gonzalez, hurling a package of glitter bombs at the radioactive horde. The glitter bombs exploded, showering the radioactive people in a sparkly cloud of distraction. But it wouldn't be enough. They needed a plan, and fast. Caseoh closed his eyes, focusing on the lint in his belly button. He imagined it growing, expanding, pushing against the force field. He thought of all the people counting on him, on the Ban Army, to save the day. He took a deep breath and let out a yell so loud, so full of hope and laughter and the sheer absurdity of it all, that it shook the very foundations of the force field. And the lint responded. A wave of orange energy erupted from Caseoh, engulfing the force field, dissolving it like cotton candy in a rainstorm. The radioactive people, caught off guard, stumbled backward, their glow flickering in surprise. Energized by Caseoh's power, the Ban army charged. Mrs. Higgins wielded her feather duster like a sword, reciting Shakespeare with a ferocity that would make a pirate tremble. Mr. Gonzalez weaved through the disoriented horde, delivering roundhouse kicks and care packages with equal skill. But it was Caseoh who delivered the final blow. With a flick of his trusty lint brush, he sent a concentrated blast of orange lint towards the leader of the radioactive people. The lint enveloped the leader in a warm, fuzzy hug. The orange glow of the lint mixed with the sickly green glow of the radioactive energy, neutralizing it, turning it into a gentle, harmless hum. One by one, the other radioactive people were engulfed in lint-covered hugs, their anger and negativity melting away, replaced by sheepish grins and apologies. With the threat of the radioactive people neutralized, peace returned to the land. Caseoh and the Ban army were hailed as heroes. They had saved the day not with violence and weapons, but with laughter, kindness, and the power of good hygiene. The story of Caseoh, the man with the orange beard and the magical belly lint, became a legend, a reminder that even the most ordinary of people can be heroes. All it takes is a little bit of courage, a whole lot of heart, and maybe a lint brush or two. As for Caseoh, he went back to his life, laughing, spreading joy, and always remembering to empty his lint trap. Because you never knew when you might need a little extra power to save the world. Do you have what it takes to join the Ban army? It's easy. Just follow these simple steps. 1. Be kind. A smile and a kind word can go a long way. 2. Find the fun. Life is too short to be serious all the time. 3. Embrace your inner weirdness. The world needs more people like Caseoh. People who aren't afraid to be themselves, even if it means having a belly full of magical lint. So go out there, spread the joy, fight the good fight, and always remember, even a small act of kindness can make a world of difference.